Hey guys, I'm Pop.
And I'm Tot.
And we are Pop and Tot
Tot
Games. Today we're going to be talking about our top 20 favorite games of all time. We're going to break this up into two videos. Today we'll be talking about our 11 through 20 favorite games, and then the next video we'll do our top 10, our 1 through 10 favorite games of all time. Alright, to kick it off, Isaiah, why don't you give us your number 20?
My number 20 is Castle Combo. I like this game because there's a messenger and you can move it around with keys. And there is also some different colors where there's like silver, kind of, like more like silver side, and the brown side for like the peasants and the poor people. But the rich people are usually more expensive unless you get like the really rare brown ones. And this is how you do a turn. So you have amount of coins. You start with like 2 keys and like
15 coins.
Yeah, 15 coins. So then you look and see what you want to buy, and it's also like row based. So there's like rows and columns. But that is the draw pile, basically.
2 rows, yeah.
Yeah, but then you have a max of 9 cards, so. And then you can also spend a key to move the messenger, and there's different coin costs. Some of them cost 10. Not 10. Some of them can cost like expensive a lot, like 7, but then they give you 10 coins if you have enough. And that's the game.
Yeah, basically.
That was my number 20.
That's a great
Castle Combo.
That's a great pick. Yeah, basically you build a 3x3 grid of cards, and then you score the most points. Whoever has the most points wins. So, great pick. All right, for my number 20, Dice Throne Missions. Big box here. This was a game that we kickstarted, and so we got to get it early on, and we have been playing it quite a bit. It has around 30 scenarios. It's a cooperative game up to 4 players where you're fighting against some scenarios that a villain has created that you have to overcome, some objectives, and then you have to, at the very end of the game or end of the scenario, beat that villain. So it has double-sided boards. So every scenario has a double-sided board. The first side is whatever objectives you need to complete are written on there. And then once you've completed those objectives, you can leave that room that you're in as the superheroes, flip the board over, and then you fight the supervillain. There's also this really cool crisis clock that's moving around, and bad stuff's happening from it. And so it's kind of keeping you moving the game forward so that you don't take too long, because the longer you take, the more bad stuff's going to happen. So you're trying to complete the objectives as quickly as possible, defeat the villain as quickly as possible as well. And as long as your entire team manages to get out alive without getting knocked out, you win the game after you defeat the final villain. And like I said, there's lots of villains in the game, about 30 scenarios. And then it has a cool level up system as well, where in between missions, you get to level up your character, upgrade your abilities so that you're stronger in the next mission. Highly fun, great component quality, nice miniatures, tiles, boards, artwork, you name it. Beautiful game. If you guys like cooperative games, highly recommend this one. My number 20, Dice Throne Missions.
I think this game is a good pick too. And we also have done an unboxing video. If you have not seen it, you should see it. And the other thing is the Kickstarter, getting it kickstarted is really nice because you get free acrylic things included with it, and you get all the hex tiles are acrylic. And then the crisis clock is magnetized. And the miniatures are sold separately, but they are nice and they're pretty good for plastic. And I like that game, and good pick.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and they're colored miniatures too, which a lot of games don't have. So, thank you, Isaiah. What's your number 19?
My number 19 is Archaeology: The New Expedition by Phil Walker Harding. I like this game because it's a lot like you're like trying to get treasures, and that is the theme. So you're like in like the sand and you have a tent. But if a sandstorm hits, there's only one tent you have. So it's like the sandstorm will be dangerous, but if you don't spend your tent, then you have to discard some treasures and then other items like Pharaoh's masks. You do not want to discard those if you have 3. They're so valuable. They're worth like 45 points at the end of the game. And there's also robbers that you blind their cards and you cannot see, but then they take your cards. And it's also by Z-Man Games, 10 plus, ages 10 plus, 2 to 5 players in 30 minutes. And that is my number 19, Archaeology, The New Expedition.
Great pick. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite travel games, personally. If we did a travel games list, that would be on it because it's small, it's portable, it plays up to 5, and it's a lot of fun. Every game plays a little differently based off of what treasure combinations you get, so great pick. All right, my number 19 is I See You, Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle-earth. So in this game, you're going to be, it's a 2-player game. You're going to be either the forces of Sauron, the ICU character in the game who has this giant eye and he's looking for the ring, or you're going to be the free people of Middle-earth, which is Frodo and Sam, all the hobbits, the elves, all the good people that are fighting against Sauron so that Sauron doesn't reclaim his ring. And it's just an amazing tug of war back and forth between the 2 players where there's multiple ways to win. In the game, it's basically a card drafting game where everyone's drafting these various cards. And there's a game called Seven Wonders Duel that is very similar. But it basically has these cards and it's in a pyramid type shape and you're drafting these cards. Some are face up, some are face down, and you can't draft the face down cards and you can't draft anything that's, has another card on top of it. So it's got this cool little mechanism where you're slowly uncovering these cards as the round goes on. Game plays in 3 rounds, and in a nutshell, you have a few different ways to win. You can win on the ring track. On the ring track, if you're the free people of Middle-earth, you get the ring to Mount Doom, you throw it in the fire, you win. If you're the bad guys and you catch Frodo and Sam on the ring track, then you win the game. So that's one way you can win. The other way is if you get enough alliances with the free people of Middle-earth, either the good guys or the bad guys do it, then you win that way. And that's just a series of cards that you can get that have different symbols on them. You get all the symbols collected, you win that way. And then finally, there's a map of Middle-earth up here with various sites. If you're able to control the entire map, have one of your troops, either the good or the bad, depending on what side you are, covering the whole map, you automatically win. If none of those happen throughout the course of the game, at the very end of 3 rounds, whoever has the most troops on the map will win the game. So it's very fun. You got to always be watching what the other player is doing. Money can be tight sometimes in it, and so it's just a lot of fun, and it's very thematic based off of the movies. And so that is my number 19, Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle-earth.
My number 18 is Sagrado. We do not have the physical copy, so we do not know what the components are, but I think the app is really cool. So I like this game a lot because I like the gameplay, and I like how it's like all about rolling dice and like all the different colors the dice are. And the app is really nice too because there's also a computer that can play. So it can't just be you because you cannot play the game normally solo. And there is also these like cool glass like colored glass mimickers. They try to mimic colored
Stained glass?
Yeah. Yes, stained glass. And it's a fun game, and that is my number 18, Sagrada.
Yeah, it's basically a dice drafting game. You roll the dice at the beginning, and then the players draft dice one at a time. I also like it has a snake draft. So, like, if you're the first player, Isaiah, you get to take one die, but you get first choice of all of them. Then, if I'm the second player, then I get to take two dice. And then it goes back to Isaiah. And so it's got a nice little snake draft. And of course, if you're four players, it's flip flop. The last person will get to choose two. And so that kind of helps if you're going last. But you're basically filling out this little grid with these dice, and it looks really pretty on the table. And I used to have this game, a physical copy, and I just didn't play it enough. I think I got rid of it, but I eventually found out about the app that Isaiah mentioned, and it's just a great app. So if you want to check it out, check out the app. It's on iOS and Android. It's great, and you could try it out that way before you buy a physical copy. Much cheaper that way. All right, great choice. All right, for my number 17, or 18, excuse me, Manhattan Project Energy Empire. And in this game, you are basically trying to build various buildings and power them up. And you're generating energy to do that. You have a various assortment of ways to do that. You have these dice that represent energy in the game. And there's like coal energy, there's nuclear energy, there's hydro power, hydro energy, solar energy. So there's clean energy and there's dirty energy. The dirty energy is going to pollute your environment. You have like this little board, as environment board, where it actually literally you're putting pollution on it, which is really cool. And then when you do that, it actually you're losing points. You see, it affects your score if you have a polluted board. So then throughout the game, you're actually trying to clean up your environment and get rid of all the pollution from your board, which is really cool as well. Trying to do that, so it's very thematic that way. It's also really cool because it's got some engine building, so you'll have these cards that you'll get and they'll trigger different abilities, and you can use energy or workers, because this has worker placement, to be able to power these cards. And then it's also got this cool mechanism where you can go anywhere you want on the board, but if some other player has already gone there before you, you have to spend more workers and or energy to go there. So if Isaiah goes there first and he puts one worker down, I have to put a worker and an energy to go there, or I can't go there. So I have to have like one level higher in workers / energy, because energy is kind of like workers in the game, but then there are actual physical workers as well. And so it's got a neat mechanism where you're trying to get to those spots before the other players, so you don't have to spend as much. So it's kind of like a resource optimization throughout the game, which is really fun. And interesting theme. And there's also these little events that go out throughout the game where it could be good, could be bad. At the beginning, they're good. They give you little bonuses at the end of each round. But then towards the end of the game, they're bad, and you have to like account for those. And you'll see it coming, but you've got to prepare, because at the end of that round, something bad may happen. Well, it will happen. And so you have to make sure that you do things to prevent you getting negatively affected by those things. So that is my number 18, Manhattan Project Energy Empire.
My number 17 is tracking through history. Oh! It is tracking through history. I like this game because, as you already noticed, is that it is about time traveling. Right now we are back in the 1960s. And there's also ancestors you can visit. And there is also a clock, which I have right here, which is where you put your tokens. And you have so much time because the cards you take away time. But then if you stay back, then you get all the cards. And you try to get cards like in a row of like, you try to get the farthest back in time, and then you go like up the time scale.
Forward in time?
Yeah. But ancestors, they move the clock 3. So if you're starting, that's 3 right there, but they're wild. So the clock is basically like money in this game. And this is how you play a turn. So basically, the person picks their card right there, and then you move the clock equal to that. And then you have this board, and some of them give you crystals or little meeples,
All of them give you crystals,
Yeah.
but some give you more than others.
and they give you these little things to finish your board, which can give you points and multiple things, and that's about it. That was my number 17, Trekking Through History.
Great choice. This is in one of our other videos, favorite family games. This is on there. Just reminded of that, Isaiah. Yeah, and this is also educational because on every card it tells you about the historical event that you're visiting in the game. Has a whole paragraph about it, which is really cool, and it has obviously the year when it took place. So it's both a good educational game as well as a really fun game. Great components. It comes with actually a play mat. Very few games come with play mats unless they're like upgraded versions. But yeah, I would say for families, highly recommended. All right, for my number 17. Got another big box. This one is really big. Raccoon Tycoon. Ooh, a lot of components and bits in there too. So Raccoon Tycoon has metal coins. You can hear it. It is a game where you are bidding for railroads, and you're these anthropomorphic animals, these cute little animals, and you're basically bidding for these various railroads, and you're also selling goods, obtaining goods, selling them, and then using the money that you sell to purchase these railroads. And then you're basically doing set collection with these railroads, and so the more cards you have of a particular railroad type, the more points you get. And that's kind of the gist of it, but then you're also buying buildings that give you various abilities throughout the game. They're going to give you in-game scoring conditions. But in a nutshell, it is a market game where you're selling things and getting money, and then using that money in turn to buy things. And you're just trying to get the best bang for your buck. You're trying to use your resources in a way that's optimal. And it has a million components, and it seems like it wants me to open this, so I will. Yeah, so you have these nice coins, and very, very nice. This is also a deluxe edition, so it has upgraded coins and materials and everything else. So, but yeah, very nice. Basically, the person with the most points wins, but you're using money throughout the game to be able to get those points. So that is my number 17, Raccoon Tycoon.
My number 16 is Wine Cellar. I like this game because it's fun, and I like the style of selling wine. Even though I don't drink it, I just like the style. And the artist is a very good artist. It is Vincent Dutray. And each wine bottle has the hints of flavor on it. So if somebody was going to drink wine of this flavor, it tells you the hints. And like hints of cinnamon or something like that. And it's also 1 to 8 players. So there can be a lot of players in this game. 20 minutes, ages 10 plus. And it's 25th Century Games by 25th Century Games. This is how your turn works. So it's a lot. It's like a style where you have a hand, and then you passes the hands around, and you take a wine down, and then you have 8 wine cards.
Yeah.
And then, so you try to get 8, try to get the most points. You need to get them in order. So if you see the wine cards, they are like, there's a 1, and there's a 2, and there's a 3, and it shows you how many points you have.
It goes up to 8 points, I think, too.
It goes up to 8.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you one of them. So basically, this is what you're going to see here. You're going to see a 1 there, which is a 2, 7, and then so forth. The 1, 2s, and 3s are small, but I like the cards a lot. Oh, and back here it even is really good artwork back there. And also it comes with score pads and a pencil, a sharpened pencil. That's like the best. Because most games don't come with that and you have to break your pencil multiple times. But this comes with a real sharpened pencil.
It does.
And that is my number 16, Wine Cellar.
Nice. That's a fun game. And the cards are the most uniquely shaped cards of anything. They make them look like wine bottles. They're very narrow, rectangularly shaped. So, all right, good choice. My number 16 is Stone Spine Architect. So, in this game, you are architects and you are building dungeons. So it's got a fantasy theme where you're building these dungeons, and it's a drafting game where everybody has a hand of cards and you're basically taking a card and you're playing it in front of you. That card represents part of your dungeon, a section of your dungeon. And it's a 4x4 grid. So you're playing 16 cards throughout the game. And in this dungeon are various elements. You have paths where you can obviously, your monsters can go through. So it has paths. You also have traps. And you also have actually monsters. And you're incorporating your dungeon with these pieces, these elements, to score points. At the end of every round, it'll be four rounds, but at the end of rounds 1, 2, and 3, you will be drafting in-game scoring cards. And those in-game scoring cards will allow you to score points at the end of the game for those various elements you have in your dungeon. There are also victory point stars that are in there. They have negative victory point stars and positive victory point stars. Those are elements you can also get. And then you're trying to connect these cards in such a way, orient these cards in such a way where you can build a path to your entrance and a path to your exit. And if you're able to do that both ways with every card, you get 32 points because there's 16 cards. So you can score points by having paths to your entrance, paths to your exit, for all the elements in your dungeon, for various scoring cards that you have, you get points for those. And then there's one objective that everybody's trying to get, that everybody knows about. It's not secret, and it's everybody's trying to score. That whoever has the most will get the most points for that. And it's just a really fun game, very quick, very easy to teach. You can play it on Board Game Arena. It's got an amazing implementation. So check out BoardGameArena.com if you want to try it there. I've played it on BoardGameArena.com as many times as I played the physical version, and I think I've now played this about 20 plus times. Highly recommend it if you like drafting games, if you like the theme, if you like just fun games that are engaging. Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
My number 15 is First Rat. I like this game because I like the style of the rat trying to be first to the moon, and they're collecting like trash to make a rocket ship out of garbage. And it's also good artwork, and and also I like this funny rat on the front. He's just like, and this is your turn. So basically you can move I think you can move as much as you want to.
1 to 3 spaces.
1 to 3.
Initially.
But you have to get these supplies to do things and make babies. You can have babies.
Rat babies, yeah.
Yeah. And then there is also like a competitor on that track where you spend in resources to get points on that track, but then the first one up there gives you a benefit. And it's also where there's like this area where you have to get them out of, and I like it a lot. That is my number 15, First Rat.
That's a great choice, yeah. It's very fun, yeah, and the artwork is very whimsical. Wonderful artwork. It has a funny theme, like Isaiah mentioned. So great choice.
Oh, then also 1 to 5 players, 30 to 75 minutes and 10 plus.
All right, great choice. All right. So my next selection, number 15, is a beautiful game called Parks. And this one is the second edition. They've now done a reprint of this game with new artwork. It also is the Summit Edition, which is just basically like a deluxe version. So it has upgraded components. But in this game, you're basically trekking through national parks in the United States. And you are visiting various locations to acquire resources. And you're taking those resources and basically turning them in to visit other parks. And so it's basically turning in resources to basically score these cards up here at the top. And yeah, you're moving along this track. You're landing on various spots. One of the cool things about it though is you can never occupy the same spot as another player unless you use your campfire token. Everyone has a campfire token. And you can do that once per round where you can land on a spot where someone else is. So normally you have to be on a spot where nobody else is, including your own self, because you actually have 2 campers in the game. You have 2 trailmen, and they can't occupy the same spot either. So it's got this neat little puzzle where you're trying to figure out where should I go next, you know, but I don't want to go too fast because you can go as far along the path as you want. You can go to the very end of the trailhead if you want, but you're missing out on all these resources and things you can do. You can take photos in the game, and photos score you points. So there's all these things you can do. You don't want to go too fast, but you know you're limited because you can't go where everybody else is without using the campfire tokens. It's really fun. Highly recommend this one for families or anybody who likes the theme. Once again, national parks and gorgeous artwork. It also has these really cool recessed player boards, dual layer player boards where your resources fit into. Has some engine building with your canteens, and you get, you know, once you fill up your canteen, you get more resources. It's really cool, highly fun game. It's 1 to 5 players, 40 to 70 minutes. So Parks is my number 15.
My number 14 is Battle Line Medieval. I like this game because I like the style of, you're like trying to be knights and you're trying to win these areas and win the war. And it's really good artwork for just a card game. See? So that is like, and they even have a cool bee, like a king would ride, like a big puffed up bee. And also,
how many players is it?
It is,
yeah,
but it's a 2 players only game, and it's a very fun game. And also, this is how your turn goes. So you have cards right here, and then you invade these fortresses, and there's fortresses.
Or different battlefields.
Yeah,
basically.
like battlefields.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give you different things. And they give you different abilities if you play on the expansion side. But we haven't played it in a long time, but we haven't done it. That is my number 14, Battle Line Medieval.
Yeah, in this game, it's basically like if you know Rummy, or if you know Suits of Cards, like different card games, just standard card games. It uses a lot of those, like poker hands. So you have like royal flushes and straights and all that, and you're basically trying to get the best hand of cards so that you win that battlefield. And I believe it's the first person who wins. Let's see, I know it's majority wins, but there's 9 battlefields. So if you win 5 battlefields, you win the game. And if you win 3 battlefields that are adjacent, then you win the game. So you try to prevent the other player from winning 3 in a row. But if you win 5 battlefields, you win the game. So that's all it is. But it uses just a regular kind of deck of cards with nice artwork and poker style hands. So it's very clever the way they do that. Good choice. All right, my number 14 is Video Game Champion. You're basically all kids, and you are playing these video games from the 90s, 16-bit video games, and you're trying to play as many games as you can, and beat as many games as you can too. And you're scoring points the more games you play, the more games you complete. You're also getting these magazines to help you beat games. Those magazines can be worth points too. You got these little grids that you have. Everyone has this little player board that has gem symbols on it, and there's various colors of gems that you're putting on your board. Those give you points as well at the end of the game. And then if you played the most games, you're going to get a bonus at the end. And then you're just scoring points for beating games and so forth. But it has really cool artwork, very colorful, artistic. It has these little tiles that represent resources, and those tiles actually are controller tiles. So they look like little controllers. But it's very fun. Plays 2 to 5 players, 50 to 90 minutes. And like I said, very thematic. Especially if you were a kid from the 90s that played video games and go to the Blockbuster video store and played them, rented them on the weekends and stuff. Very fun. It uses worker placement to do that, and just a great little kind of grid worker placement system that's in a grid. So that is my next pick.
My number 13 is Planted, a game of nature and nurture. I like this game because I like the theme of you're trying to plant stuff, and then when you're ready to grab a new plant, you call nursery, and then there's these cool tokens which I will show you in a little bit. Here is the a brief view of the game when it's all set up, and this is how turn works. So it's a lot like,
It's a card drafting game.
Yeah, just like Wine Cellar.
Or Stone Spine.
Yeah.
You have a hand of
Stone
cards.
Spine or Wine Cellar. The style is not like it, but like the card drafting game. So I'm gonna show you the components. So this is how a game works. You pick a card, and then after you pick a card, you might be able to do the benefits of it, or you you gain the resources for it, and then you go again. You can pick decorations. So as you can see, this is the suns by the bag. Oh, the suns are in the leaf bag, but that's okay. So these are the leaves.
And these are probably the suns. No, these are the water bottles. So we put this game away. We weren't paying attention to
That is okay.
Yeah.
So I'll show you the suns, which are in here.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
No, they're in here. They're in the green thumbs bag.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show you the suns. I'm showing you those because those all are my favorite. These are suns. See, they're if you can see, they're like textured plastic. They're real nice plastic. So here the mixed up here. Okay. So there's also these boards for it. These player boards, and that is Planted. My number 13. Oh, and it's also 2 to 5 players, ages 10 plus, and 20 to 30 minutes. And also, these are the cards for all the cards you can get. So these are some of the cards. Here's plant food. So if you saw the spray bottles, here's your plant food. So it gives you one of those. And then this one, the plant food I just showed you, but it's a double card for it. Then you gain extra for that double so it means you get 3. I always aim for the tools, but I don't always win. But I just think it's fun to aim for the tools sometimes.
And the tools just help you get more resources, right?
They help you get more. Sometimes I go for the tools a little bit too much. If I just lower it, I might win the game easily. I mean, easy win.
And the decorations, I think, are what they're called for in-game
For
scoring.
like plants. They're like for
Yeah.
the plants.
Well, in-game
like-
scoring conditions for every certain types of plants you have, or this or that.
Yeah, like hanging plants, wall plants.
Yeah. And I usually focus more on the decorations and he more on the tools, but you can't
That is-
focus too much on
That
tools.
is Planted by Phil Walker Harding.
Same designer who made Archaeology.
And it is
Expedition.
number 13.
So our number 13, or my number 13, is Foundations of Metropolis. This is one I don't think I've played with Isaiah yet. I think I've wanted to play with him. I think he actually would like it if he played
Yeah, I would like to play it.
It's really fun. I need to teach this one to you. So let's make this one be our next game we play.
Yes.
It's a new game.
Oh, and it is also by Arcane Wonders,
Yeah.
like a lot of the other games.
Yeah. So in this game, this is a very beautiful game as well. I'll just show one player board. So in this game, you're basically kind of like basically purchasing properties is what you're doing first. So you have these little cards that represent different plots of property, and you're wanting to acquire land, plots of land, so that you can remove buildings from your player board, which is this board here, and place them on the main board. And so the main board here looks like this. It has all these little plots. This is the 2-player version, the version I played with Isaiah. And then there's a bigger side over here for 4 players or 3 or more. And you're auctioning off these different plots of land so that you can, like I said, build buildings on the other board. So, and basically these buildings are going to give you various points, and there's different conditions for how you score those points. The bigger the building, the more points you're going to score. Some of them just give you what's called population, and population gives you points as well, and there's kind of like a battle to try to get the most population throughout the game. So that's really cool. But yeah, it's just an auction game where you're trying to, like I said, you're bidding for these various plots of land, and then you're trying to basically remove these buildings from your board and put them on the main board so that you can score points. But it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of player interaction because you actually sometimes get points for other players' buildings. So Isaiah could build a building, and then I could build another building right next to his building, and I score points for his building.
Wow!
And other players that build around that. And so it's really a very high player interaction game, super good components. This is actually, believe it or not, as beautiful as it is, there's a souped up version of this game that came before it called Foundations of Rome. Different theme, this is in a city, that one obviously was in Rome. And it was all miniature buildings. Instead of these being tiles, they were all miniatures, but very, 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 very expensive.
That, like if you get the fully deluxeified, maybe $1,000.
Well, now, yeah, because they only made so many copies, but
Oh.
it was like, I think, $300 or something crazy, $250, $300 at the time. But anyway, this one's a lot of fun. This is the affordable version, very fun, and next game I'm going to teach Isaiah. So, all right, Isaiah, what's your last 2 games?
My number 12 is Marvel Dice Throne X-Men. I like this game because it's like, it's just like the normal Dice Throne, but it's X-Men. So you have Wolverine and all of those, as you can see. Jean Grey, Gambit, Rogue, Cyclops, Iceman, and Fizzlock, Storm, Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's a fun game, so it's like a fighting game of Marvel Dice Throne missions. You do need one of these to get it. You can also get 2-packs and 4-packs, but you need one of these, like at least a 2-pack, to get
To play missions.
yes, Marvel Dice Throne missions. And this is how you play. So your turn, you roll 5 dice. And then you have this board, which I will show you, and you choose the abilities, and you have ultimates. I'm going to show you Gambit. There is this special material the companies come out for, which is called synth. And synth is a really good quality material.
Yeah, and each character has these trays that are different colors. And
So here is Gambit's ace cards. If you can see, these are tougher than normal. They're like rubber. So let me show you his board. This is what it will look like.
so you can talk about it.
So it will be like this, your defense, and your ultimates there, as you can see. 5 sixes, those are the 6 symbols, that's 4 sixes. And then this is where you put your tokens, and if you flip it around, there's artwork there too. And fold it up, nicely looks like, and the insert's very nice.
Mhm.
Custom insert right there.
Custom dice.
Oh yeah, and the dice are nice looking dice. They're very nice.
And this explains all the abilities
Mhm.
that you
It
have.
explains all your
you have
tokens,
tokens.
explains all of it. That is my number 12, Marvel Dice Throne X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah, they've had several iterations of this. It was Dice Throne with season 1 and season 2 were fantasy based.
Oh, and if you look in there,
Artwork.
inside box artwork.
Yeah,
Come
well,
with,
we have that video where we actually cover this too, remember?
yeah.
So
Comes-
in our Dice Throne unboxing, we include all this.
This is also in the unboxing video like Missions is.
Mhm.
So you should check that out. And that is my number 12.
Yeah,
Dice Throne
X-Men.
X-Men.
Yep.
Marvel Dice
And yeah, like I was saying, there's been several iterations. There's a fantasy version that's just Dice Throne. They had 2 seasons of that, and then they had the Marvel Dice Throne, which had other characters that weren't X-Men, and then this one, of course, has X-Men. So they've now had 4 seasons of Dice Throne. So you have a lot of combinations.
Oh, and then also Roxley Games is thinking out to come with an app for it,
So-
and that's really good for Roxley Games.
Mhm. All right. So, my number 12 is another heavy box. Heat Pedal to the Metal. My favorite racing game. Favorite racing board game. So this is kind of heavy because I have one expansion included in there, and it's already kind of a big box as it is. But in this game, by Days of Wonder, you are racing, and you are trying to be first place, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these lots and lots of different boards. What's cool about this game is they're double-sided. So you have lots of options for tracks.
Oh, and also in this game, there is
And
like,
heat pedal the
you
metal.
cannot get too hot. There's like
Yeah.
this heat tracker, or if you get too hot with these hot cards,
Mhm,
then
I'm gonna
it
get into
isn't
that.
good.
Yep. And then so we've got this one, and then this Great Britain, and then we have France over here. So every board is double-sided, and they're different. And then the thing is you got to watch your speed in this game, because if you go too fast, you can actually crash and spin out. So you got to make sure you're downshifting, and then you upshift when you want to go faster. But like Isaiah mentioned, is you have to deal with heat, hence the name. And the way the heat works is you have these heat cards, and you're having to basically take heat cards from the heat section of your board and move them in your discard pile. And this game is a deck building game, essentially. You have a hand of cards that you're drawing. What's happening though, as the game goes on, you're developing heat. They go into this discard pile. Then when you have to reshuffle all of your cards, the heat gets shuffled back in. And then you're dealing with heat, and heat is worthless. So when it's in your hand, it does nothing. The other cards that are in your hand are speed cards that help you go various speeds. And you can play so many cards to go, you add up the sum of those cards, and that's how fast you go. But the heat cards, they gum up your hand. So then you're trying to get rid of heat, so you have to cool down. And there's cool down cards that you do that. And you can downshift as well. When you downshift, you can get rid of some heat cards. So you're managing your hand of cards throughout the game, trying not to overheat your engine. If you ever run out of heat and you need to take a heat, you actually will spin out as well. So you always got to manage the heat resource, and it's really fun. First player to get to the finish line wins the game. You know, any racing game, but it's that heat element that makes it so fun. It's got great artwork as well. All right.
My last game for the list is Las Vegas Royale number 11. I like this game because it's a fun dice rolling game, kind of like Dice Throne, kind of in a way. In the Royale version, because you roll the dice, and then after you put them in these special spots, where like to
Casinos.
get
like casinos.
special casinos. Instead, in the normal Las Vegas, it's really hard to get. This is out of print, and the other one is. You don't have these special things, and the artwork isn't as good, and all of that. But
what are the special things? Talk about those.
yeah, so the special things are like where you can do different things. Like one of them gives you different money, and another gives you more money. So basically, the special things are all about money, or they give you these black tokens. My favorite one is where it's like, there's like these tokens in your hands, and then you try to guess. That's really cool. I'll show you.
Lucky Punch.
Yeah,
you don't
Lucky.
you don't have to get out. It might take a while, but you can just show the basics. But it's
So this is basically what the special ones are.
yeah.
This is what they look like, and then
And they go on the 1, the 2, and the 3 spots.
comes with the dice tray, which is kind of cool to fit the dice in.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the unsliding inserting. This is how your turn goes. So you have dice, and you go around with dice. So you have dice, and you roll your dice. And then you're like, will this work or no? And there's different combinations you have to do, like, not really combinations, it's more like sixes. So if you're trying to win this thing, you get a bunch of sixes. Or
Well, okay. So the
Yes.
casinos, there's 6 casinos, right? The 6th spot is where all the 6 pips go. So all the people that roll 6s, they put their 6s there,
and then you
and it has the most money.
So, but you can get different numbers to do different things. And there's also this one die that gives you like extra if you roll it. And that is my game. Las Vegas Royale number 11.
The caveat in this game, though, is there's no re-rolling your dice unless you have these special tokens, which you have these chips. And you only start with 2, so you're limited on how many times you can re-roll your dice. But you can only place dice of 1 pip value on your turn. So you can place all your 1s, all your 2s, all your 3s, all your 4s, all your 5s, all your 6s. You have to choose one of those. But you can't place all your dice in one turn. You have to choose one of those. Sounds good.
That is my number 11. Las Vegas Royale.
Good choice. All right. So my final selection here. This is the biggest game of my collection. Biggest game of my collection. Oops. It's over here. Oh. We got some birds in here, so that's why the box is so big. There's actually real birds in here. I need to feed them. So this is Wingspan, and this is called the Nesting Box. This has the base game of Wingspan with all the expansion content and any future expansion content that will come out. This is the biggest box in my collection by far. Beautiful artwork. Has an eagle there on the back. Yeah. So in this game, you're basically building out a bird aviary. Each player has their own player board, and they are putting cards on their board that represent different birds. Each of the birds are unique in the game. Each of them has a wingspan listed in centimeters. That's how big literally their wingspan is in real life. And that's where the name Wingspan comes from. And there's objectives that will score you points based off of how big the wingspan is or how small the wingspan is, various elements of the wingspan, where certain types of birds will eat other birds that are smaller. It's not that they eat them, they tuck them away. So it's like their wings are over the other birds, they're flying, and you can't see them because they're tucked under the other ones. So that's kind of how they get away with it, the gimmick. But in a nutshell, what you're doing in the game is you're building out your bird aviary. There's 3 habitats. You have water birds, you have plains birds, you have grassland birds. And every card has habitats that they can live in. Some of them only can live in one habitat, some can live in all 3, or 2, or what have you. And so you have to pay the food that each bird needs to be able to come out of that habitat. You pay these food resources, and they have this little dice tray, or not dice tray, dice tower, where these dice are rolled, and on the dice represent different food symbols. And whatever dice you take, that's the food you get. You get the right food, you play the right birds in those habitats, and every bird gives you points. It will have a point value on it for each one played. But what really makes this game stand out is the engine building. So when you play birds in a column, say the water habitat column, in future turns, when you trigger the water habitat, you'll be able to trigger every single bird in that column, every ability that's listed on that bird. And then you're getting all this cool stuff, whether it be points, eggs, resources, what have you, when you trigger that column. And so you're trying to build out your column so you can trigger more abilities, and it's just very satisfying triggering all these bird abilities. And that's kind of what makes it stand out from other games that are similar, and the beautiful artwork and components. So that is my number 11, and that has been our top 10 list from our top 20 favorite games of all time, our 11 through 20. And we'll be doing another video that will go into our top 10. And it's been a pleasure sharing our games with you, talking about them, and hopefully you can check some of these out if they sound interesting to you. And we will see you on the next video.
Bye.